If the brand split, or superstar shakeup, has taught us anything, it's that having two rosters does mean we need a load of people to fill those spots. It's nice that familiar faces like Rhino and the Hardys have returned, but now we need more, because we're expectant assholes who will never be happy. Given the current wrestling landscape though, there's loads of guys and gals WWE can look to go back out and hire. Because they're coming back to the company, they'll all get that wonderful nostalgia pop before they just fall back into the old routine. I'm Simon from What Culture, and this is 10 wrestlers WWE should re-sign next. Number 10, Gail Kim. A real shame in the pro wrestling history books is that when Gail Kim was with the WWE wasn't really interested in proper women's wrestling. They'd rather you just got down into your underwear and then threw each other in pudding, because that's what we all needed. The situation has changed dramatically now, and the female match is no longer reduced to this nonsense. As such, getting Kim back involved is surely only going to be of huge benefit. She's still a great worker, has name recognition, and could do an awesome job in both supporting younger talent and putting them over as and where they needed it. Even if she just came to NXT, it would feel like a huge plus. You could argue she deserves a main roster spot, but there's every chance she could follow the Mickie James run, dip your foot into developmental, and then have one last experience on top. It's a win-win, especially as Gail is a free agent these days. Number 9, Rob Van Dam. RVD may be in his mid-40s, but you wouldn't know it by looking at the man. Still surprisingly agile in the ring, his fan support has barely dwindled since he had his last WWE go-around, meaning getting him back for one of the brands would be awesome. Better still if you want to end it all with a Hall of Fame induction, which he absolutely deserves. I would argue you could even put him back at the very top if you wanted. Obviously age is an issue, but with the right guy and the right ideas, I think a lot of people would be pleased to see Van Dam have a final hurrah. On top of that, he is a name and has a lot of credibility. Throw him into a program with someone you want to build, and I bet before all is said is done, it'll be mission achieved. And we get a few more 5-star frog splashes before all is said and done. Why hasn't this happened already? Number 8, Carlito. Right, cards on the table. Carlito was awesome. I don't know why I liked him so much, but his laid-back demeanor and kinda weird promo style just entertained me. Therefore, let's bring him back into the fold. For starters, there are plenty of people currently on the roster who deserve to have apples spat in their face. And secondly, Primo and Epico are currently crying out for something extra, and guess who they happen to be related to? That's right, Carlito. It's not like he's some jobber either. He won the US Intercontinental and Tag Championships during his WWE days and would probably still be recognized today. Throw him in with his brother and cousin, and you also have the perfect falls for the New Day. I think that'd be damn entertaining. So Carlito, time to come home. Number 7, John Morrison. Since John Morrison left the WWE, he's not only had a damn successful wrestling career, but also broken into movies and other entertainment endeavors. That's pretty good, and probably a good sign that the man knows what he's doing. He's also far better now in the ring and on the stick than he ever has been, so his stock is ridiculously high. What better way to capitalize on that than by having him back in the WWE squared circle? We all remember him. He'll be able to have amazing matches with nearly everyone on the card, and if he did have a run in NXT first, it would get more eyes back there too. Once he makes it to either Raw or SmackDown, you can push him hard as well. I'd be well up for a world title program featuring Mr. Mundo, as he's shown in Lucha Underground and AAA just what he's capable of. Give him some creative freedom and kablamo! You're off to the races. The John Morrison races. Number 6, Karma. Karma's first run in the WWE wasn't the most memorable. While she debuted with Rage and 8 other wrestlers alive, she had to say goodbye to the promotion when she was forced to take maternity leave. From there, her relationship with the company kind of fizzled out. The two did end on good terms, however, so given you now have 2 women's divisions to fill, why on earth are we not reaching out to the former Awesome Kong? You could throw her in with the Raw lot and start booking her versus Nia Jax, which would be interesting in more ways than one, or put her in SmackDown and have separate monsters on separate brands. And everybody loves a monster. There is a small issue in that apparently Karma's recent TNA stint ended in a backstage altercation with Reby Hardy, who's obviously now married to WWE Raw roster member Matt Hardy. But if that can be overcome, I can't see any reason why we shouldn't greenlight this. Number 5, Melina. For many of the same reasons we've already outlined, Melina could walk back into the WWE tomorrow and be an asset on either Raw or SmackDown. Properly over before she left the company, a lot of that star power would follow her return, instantly giving Melina the opportunity to shine. The problem, of course, is that rumors state she did have nuclear heat before walking away from the WWE. Accused of having a giant ego and being taken to the always ridiculous wrestler's court many a time, it may be tough to shake that off before being welcomed back. But that was like 45,908 years ago, and the world has changed a lot since then. I'm sure Melina has too. So let's just forget all that and start anew. See how we all get on. Number 4, EC3. A lot of people, understandably, have no idea that one Ethan Carter III was in the WWE before he headed off to TNA. I mean, if you blinked, you would have missed him, but that's not the point. He was there, which means now he can be re-signed. Known as Derek Bateman in FCW and NXT, he never really got too far in the system, being fobbed off as a comedy character more often than not. Since then, however, he has become a world champion and made a name for himself in the industry. Much like a Bobby Roode, he would be instantly well received if he returned to Florida, and his heel work over the last few years has been pretty darn good. WWE would have to change his name, obviously, because he's named after Dixie Carter, and ain't no way anything to do with Dixie Carter gonna be in WWE, but still, he'd make a very good addition to proceedings. Number 3, MVP. Why MVP hasn't made his return yet to the WWE, I don't know. Everyone involved says there was no heat and no bad blood, yet for some reason it has never come to pass. This is even more nuts given he left in 2010. 7 years. Since then he's had loads of success too, heading off to Japan to kick ass there. His TNA run wasn't too bad either. Lucha Underground didn't really go to plan, but he was a serious name during the first brand split and could easily repeat that today should he so wish. Unfortunately, the reason does seem to be that MVP just isn't interested. While he only has nice things to say about Vince McMahon and the company, he usually follows that up with a "we've moved on" line. But never say never. Number 2, Bobby Lashley. The biggest hurdle Bobby Lashley faced during his WWE run was that he was brought up too soon. Well, there was a rumoured other hurdle too, but let's not go into that here. Doesn't seem like it's our place. If the powers that be had just held off the trigger a little longer though and not seen his physique and instantly rushed him to the main roster, the Bobby Lashley we know today may have started to show through. The Bobby Lashley we have today is great. Everything from his in-ring work to promos are far better than they ever have been, and his real-life MMA record gives him a legitimate feel that only really Brock Lesnar can match. And can you imagine those two bulls butting head in the WWE? I would be alright with that. Just fine. I even think he could be a main eventer these days. WWE would probably put the brakes on him fighting in mixed martial arts, which may stop any return, but he's got the skills now. He'd be a huge asset. Number 1, Rey Mysterio. First and foremost, Rey Mysterio is a pro wrestling legend. He changed the business and opened the door for small guys across the world, and he should be treated as a major deal. However, while he's more than deserving of a WWE return on a Top Guy program, I think if WWE could convince him to come back and be the face of the Cruiserweight division, that whole ordeal would change for the better. Aside from putting that stuff on the Western map back in the 90s, Ray would add so much prestige and star power to the division, I bet even 205 Live would start getting views. It would drive interest, increase importance, and Ray can have good matches with literally everyone. Carry the whole thing on his shoulders. It would be the perfect way to use a veteran to build for the future. And while I'd understand Ray not really wanting to do that, if he did, he would change the game once again. Not too shabby that. Not too shabby at all. Know of any other wrestlers that WWE should re-sign? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can even follow me on Twitter at SimonMiller316 or WhatCulture at WhatCultureWWE. I'm Simon from What Culture, and I will chat to you again soon.
It's time, once again, for everybody to buy a magazine, please. Yes, that's right, it's issue 5 of our wonderful magazine called Wrestling, and this one is an absolute belter. As you can see from the front cover, it features a massive career retrospective of the Olympic hero, Kurt Angle. Not only that, but it's got a How WWE Should Have Booked the Entire WrestleMania 32 card, written by this 6-foot streak of charisma. The bulk of the magazine is this huge top 100 greatest WrestleMania moments of all time list. Not just that, but you've got Shawn Michaels' crimes against wrestling. You've got the top 10 greatest wrestling managers of all time. You've got columns from Jim Cornette, Tom Pritchard, Shane Douglas, and an interview with the WCPW World Champion, Drew Galloway. Issue 5 of Wrestling will be released on April 10th. You can pre-order it now at shop.whatculture.com. Oh, and about our shop, we're currently in the process of moving all of our merch to a new premises. So shipping stuff like t-shirts, that may take a little bit longer. It doesn't apply to the magazines. Once you order a magazine, we will ship it straight away. But for any other items on our shop.whatculture.com, there might be a little bit of a delay for the next few weeks. But don't let that distract you from buying Wrestling. Buy the magazine. Buy it. Buy the magazine.